I guess I'll just simply say this. In all of my career, honest to God, this feels different. Now, I'm sure by the time you post this, it's going to get clobbered, and I'll be wrong. But I will tell you, if I were being completely honest, having a scotch with you, I'd say, man, it feels different. Something feels different. Market has got strength that I have never seen and resiliency that I have never, ever, ever seen. So
Gold and silver, assets that have stood the test of time, are now at the center of a global financial shift. Central banks are stockpiling, debt is skyrocketing, and the cracks in the current system are growing wider by the day. Andy Schectman reveals why public participation in precious metals remains shockingly low, despite the unprecedented moves by the world's wealthiest institutions. Could we be standing at the edge of a generational opportunity? And what makes this market feel different, stronger, and more resilient than ever before? Let's dive into the truth behind the numbers and why silver under $30 might just be the gift of a lifetime.
I mean, we've seen very big orders where people who understand what's happening are taking initiative, and we've seen large orders. But in March and April, when Silicon and Signature failed, we added 14,000 clients in 45 days. That's 4 or 5 years worth of clients. We're not seeing that type of participation. We're seeing participation from the people who get it, the people who've been listening to you through all of this time and understand. You see, I think too many people have become fixated on making huge sums of money very quickly. As fun as that sounds, 34 years of industry in finance has taught me that that's an anomaly. Bitcoin and Nvidia and these things that have made people very wealthy very quickly, that's the fixation. And they've ignored completely. There's no fanfare. There's no talk on the media about it at all, virtually. I mean, there's a one story, but that's a bank putting it out. That's not CNBC. And so, no, the public participation still is less than about 0.5%. That's the estimate from Joe and Jane Sixpack to the Harvard Endowment Fund. So it is massively underallocated and it is massively underspoken of. And everyone's talking about Bitcoin and AI stocks, and quietly the tortoise marches on. And it's, look, it's outperformed most asset classes for the past 25 years unnoticed. And now, especially with it at $2,300 an ounce, you would think it would be everywhere, but it's not. It's not flashy. It's not sexy because, hell, Bitcoin is $70,000 a coin. So that's way more fun to talk about. I get it. I understand it. But in the scheme of things, what is the one asset that every single central bank on the planet is in search of? It's gold. And so I think that who knows how high it goes? Who knows how high silver really, truly goes? But I think it will go higher than anyone thinks possible. And what it really offers to me is an exodus out of a system that is crumbling, that is breaking, where in every 3 months we're adding $1 trillion in debt to the system, where in 20 days recently, I just wrote down the number here, in 20 days, the debt rose by $168 billion in 20 days. And I mean, we're so far past being insolvent and broke that this is not about becoming wealthy. It is the realization and the understanding that the people accumulating it, the most well-informed traders in the world, they're not buying it to get wealthy. They already have more money than they would ever need. They are the central banks. They're buying it because it is wealth, and it is being, as Vince said, remonetized in every currency around the globe. This hasn't happened in dollars yet. It will. And I think that, buying silver right now, sub $30 is a generational gift. And that doesn't come out of my mouth easy, because I know people are saying, yeah, bullshit. It's been insufferable for a long time, and it has. But that, if you take a step back and think logically, I mean, there's got to be a significance to that. Why do they not want it to go higher? Why are they trying so hard to hold it down? You mentioned the ETFs. Ted Butler just said that in one day, the other day, someone or some entity shorted 12,599,986 shares in one day of the SLV ETF. Well, silver's up today. What are we up today? Let's see how that person is sleeping. Oh, it's up 37 cents an ounce. That person's getting his ass kicked. Is it different this time? I don't know. But what is not different this time is the American public participation, because this is why, Chris, so few people succeed in investing, because they follow the herd. That's why there's wave theory, Elliott wave, Kondratiev wave, emotions. It's much harder to do what you and I have done, stand out in front of the public when it wasn't obvious and saying, this is coming, than it is for the people to stand down on a limb and spend their own money believing that. Most people don't believe their own intuition. They don't listen to it. They follow the herd and an advisory who typically is wrong. And look, you could say we've been wrong by missing out on some of the run in the stock market, but everything has a cycle. And I think in 1 or 2 or 3 days, being right will end up saving untold amounts of money. You can be wrong in the path of a circle until you get to that inflection point. And it just feels like we're getting to that point. I guess I'll just simply say this. In all of my career, honest to God, this feels different. Now, I'm sure by the time you post this, it's going to get clobbered and I'll be wrong. But I will tell you, if I were being completely honest, having a scotch with you, I'd say, man, it feels different. Something feels different. Market has got strength that I have never seen and resiliency that I have never, ever, ever seen. So I guess we'll see. Silver Eagles are coming up, and that's the first time I've seen it, and they are a precursor. They are coming up again. And we have a special right now that's maybe better than anyone in the country, maybe less than 1 or 2 companies in the country are priced lower. I don't know, but we have 2024 Silver Eagles. You can only buy 1,500 because the mint hasn't really produced much of anything since March again. But 1,500 at 550 over spot. And that's higher than, maybe 75 cents higher than they were just a week or two ago. Premiums are rising on the Silver Eagles. Nothing else yet. But that to me is indicative of, perhaps a leading indicator of higher premiums coming ahead. What's interesting to me is that most of the people I talk to these days want Silver Eagles. They do, and right, wrong, or indifferent. So maybe that's part of it, along with the states that are approving, legal tender coins as currency. There's something, I think, to be said about that. We also, by the way, have junk silver priced at $275 over spot in stock as well. I know you usually ask me what the specials are, so I'll just preempt that. But I would just simply say this, that, yeah, well, look, in all of my career, I don't know that I've seen maybe once or twice premiums as atrocious as they are right now. I mean, they're low. And that is another thing to keep in mind. How is it that if the public's not buying, in fact, they're selling? I mean, look, our business is very strong, but not what it should be. But with the public selling, with outflows out of the ETFs, with rising real interest rates, with the rising dollar, all of these things, and the public not participating, and yet the metal keeps going higher. This is why I say it feels different. And the one thing I've learned in this industry about availability, about supply, is that in the blink of an eye, it can change, because what I consider to be overly stocked and flush with supply would last 10 minutes if the public woke up. In an environment like we saw in March, where a bank goes under and, God forbid, gets bailed in, and the rush to acquire physical in their possession quickly, in 10 minutes would blow out the industry. And, $1 billion in this industry is now on back order. It sounds like a lot of money, but it is. But, how much business would need to be done by a public if the 0.5% allocation increases just to 5%, a tenfold increase in the public's demand across the board for gold and silver, like that wipes it all out. And so, yes, it's flush, and yes, the premiums are low, but the public's stupid. The public is focused on greed, on AI, on Bitcoin, and greed kills. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. If you made all this money in crypto, if you've made all of this money in AI, then take some of the money off the damn table, be smart, and move it into an asset that is still massively undervalued by all measurements, geologically, historically, inflation adjusted, and hedge your bet.
Thank you for tuning in. If you found these insights valuable, Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Together, let's stay informed and ahead of the curve. See you in the next one.